qualifiers coming at you. Number 3. That is right. We got our third qualifiers of 5 total here from the North American European region to see which 5 teams ultimately are going to the DreamHack Summer 2015 event in mid-June to compete for some good money, I'm sure, and definitely looking forward to having a lot of fun and, of course, claim DreamHack champion. It's going to be the first DreamHack we've gone to in a bit here, so a lot of people, for good reason, hyped and excited for it. That's going to be a fun event in the near future. But we got to qualify the teams first. We already have 2 teams. Sync Esports last qualifying event, and then the first team to qualify, Fresh, of course. Those are the 2 teams so far. 3 more to go. So it kicks off today with number 3. By the end of the weekend, we'll know that third team. Could it be one of these 2 teams? Team Who taking on Team Grief in a round of 8 matchup. You look at the brackets right here. All the matchups set to happen again. The top portion will be the first part matches today. The bottom portion will be the later matches later on today. So that's kind of the full look forward to as far as what's up, not only for today, but for the weekend. And again, excited to be here. With that said, I do have a co-caster, of course, today. I'm actually going to be joined by Znooey. Znooey's my co-cast today. How's it going, man?
Thank you, Breaky. I'm doing really good, actually. This is without doubt my favorite hour of the week. We got 2 days of Heroes of New York action in front of us, and things are starting to get really tense now. When the first 5 spots of DreamHack was announced, there was a lot of teams that felt very confident, to be honest. The competitive scene didn't look as strong after Season 3 as it is now.
Yeah.
And now with 2 spots already occupied by Mint and Sync, as you mentioned, the remaining teams are starting to feel a lot of pressure.
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's really crazy. I don't know. I don't know what to expect here from this qualifier and moving forward for that matter. I have no clue what teams are not only going to make it past the first round, but who's going to win it all. And I think that's when you know your scene is pretty healthy as far as just overall good competition coming out. So yeah, really excited that we got this, but let's start talking about this game specifically because obviously we are already to the next tier of fans even. So before we get too out of hand here, let's go over it. We got Dr. Repulsor, Ophelia, Midas, Parasite were the initial bans. You had Warby's first pick into Swiftblade, Magnus into Puppet Master, and Tempest into Moira coming out. So what are you noticing here from the draft so far, Znooey?
Just before the draft, I just wanted to make you aware that Labyrinth is actually a new addition to the Hellborn roster here.
Oh,
and he's the former mid player for Team Mint, so I'm not quite sure what to expect from them. It seems like they have a lot of mid players over here. I mean, Super KG is known for playing that mid role as well, so yeah, it's going to be interesting. But yeah, talking about the draft, we got the Warbeast, the Magnus, and the Tempest, so there's a lot of team fight potential already on the Legion side. And on the Hellborn side, other way, they got Puppet Master, Swiftblade, and Mora. This is actually the exact same picks that I saw them using in a scrim just the other day. So they have been practicing this a lot, and at that particular case, they actually ended up manning up with the Puppet Master in an offensive tri-lane. Now, if this is going to be the case in this game, I'm not sure, but at least we should keep an eye out of that.
Yeah, no, excited to see that. And, I want to go over the roster a little bit more because you're right, Labyrinth, the newest addition to this team. But, again, this team in general over here with Team Grief, they're fairly newer in general, of course. You look at, obviously, their whole roster. I mean, every single player on there we know from history, especially big names like Super KG and Haxer and Chaoli, formerly known as TPS Priceless, and then even Massera on the board there. So this, no doubt, again, is that kind of star-power team that we got here. And, hey, they're looking for a trip to DreamHack. And honestly, it wouldn't surprise me in the end if they're able to have it come together. Team Who, on the other hand, they're a team that is coming off a victory in the Deadeye Bounty League earlier on this week. They defeated Solaire Club 3-1. This is becoming more and more of just a solid, consistently decent team here on the scene. So, again, really interested to see how that plays out. But, yeah, as you're saying, the possible tri-lane possibility here from Team Grief. We'll see if that ultimately develops. But yeah, seeing the Warbeast and Tempest already on the side of Team Who, very greedy, but that's a lot of push potential already coming out on their side. So I wonder if they're going to continue that method here.
Likely. They have the Magnus though, and I feel like he's going to be positioned in the mid lane. And if you want to run an offensive tri-lane, Magnus is pretty much the most annoying and most dangerous hero to be up against. Because if he gets some early levels, if he gets those marchers, he got that very solid lava surge that's very deadly if you're in the enemy force early on. I mean, he just needs to take a few steps up to the top rune, and then you're more trapped in on the enemy force. So Maybe not going to be an offensive trident after all. I think they are actually going to have to reconsider their strategy here and maybe just go with Swiftblade Suicide instead.
Mm-hmm.
Now with the Magnus Engineer in the mid lane, that's a deadly lane in itself, and I'm not quite sure what they are planning on putting up against that. I guess it's going to be the Flux, and I would assume that he's going to be tanky enough to withstand the burst coming out from Magnus and Engineer, at least in the early levels. I think the most interesting part is going to be where Mora is going to be positioned,
Yeah.
because versus a Warbeast Suicide, who is going to pull the lane constantly, you can't really put a range support versus that. It's not going to help too much. It's just a big waste. Oh, and here comes the Fade. It's the exact same pick as in the scrim earlier this week as well. So they have practiced this, they are comfortable, and well, support Fade, I think.
Yeah, you kind of called it there. Now, this is interesting, extra interesting seeing that Faye, because she is a hero that we've been seeing pop up here a little bit recently, but it seems like it's been with that Sand Wraith. Again, we had SyncOn last weekend. They actually ran it themselves with a Faye, the Sand Wraith combo, and he made a Flensmeister made the strong point. It's like, we're running this because this is what beat us in Thailand at the World Final. So, now, they don't have the Sand Wraith, though, so that's where I'm kind of curious, the idea of how this is going to work out. Now, having a hero like Mora, I could assume it's obviously beneficial, how she can kind of be at a lot of places because of that E ability, but so is it going to kind of work similar to the Sand Wraith idea, where it's just you constantly catching the other team off guard?
Ooh, good question. They are definitely going to be very paranoid here in the Legion team if Fade starts to get some early pickoffs, because that's the effect of Fade. If you get some pickoffs early on, you're just going to fear the worst at all times. He's going to play passive for the rest of the game. So hopefully they are able to withstand the Trillion here at the start, at least coming out from Hellborn. But, I mean, this Soul Stealer, I mean, you already mentioned as well that Tempest and Warbeast already very greedy, and then to pick up a Soul Stealer with a potential Trillion coming up, I don't feel like picking up a hero without any escape or any stunts are a good idea.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, Jim Carreyrou, he's proven to be definitely a strong carry player on the scene, but that's exactly that's also what I was noticing too. Just a very greedy lineup. I mean, Warbeast and Tempest in general somewhat greedy in itself, but you throw a Soul Stealer on top of that, almost like a tri-core lineup here. I mean, sure, Tempest not necessarily a carry, but you want to get him some really good farm early on, of course, to get the Portal Key, to get the Shrunken Head, the Astrolabe even, then eventually that Restoration Stone. So there's going to be a lot of farm to go around, and the idea of what Team Grief is going for, it seems like they're going to at least do their best to prevent that from happening efficiently. So, yeah, a little bit of a concern here for Team Who. Look at the aggressive wards too, man. A couple of Rev 4s to block the cams, and even the ward of sight in the lane down here. Magnus is going to be short lane. This is turning out to be an interesting laning phase.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure where Engineer is going to be stationed though. He can't really do anything at this point. In the mid versus or together with the Soul Stealer, he's not going to be able to add any pressure on the Flux, and at the same time he can't go to bottom. Maybe he can even go at the top lane and help Warbeast a little bit. I don't know, just roam around the map in general, I guess. But Tempest, I mean, we mentioned the wards here in the Hellborn or in the Legion Forest. Tempest doesn't really have a problem with switching the forest, especially when he's up versus O initiation down in the bot.
Oh my gosh, Magnus, is he actually in trouble right here? He very likely maybe. Look at the job of staggering the stuns. I love what Puppet Master did right there. You know, he waited just long enough before the Moira stun was wearing off to then put the Puppet Show on and eventually pick up the kill. Very good patience. Good job staggering the stuns. And hey, that Ward of Sight coming into play right off the bat on top of that. So the aggressive trial lane, getting the Bloodlust kill right away. And now a little bit of transition coming out from Fade, perhaps. We'll see where he ends up. But, yeah, again, going back to just this lane in general, you see that Engineer middle. Look at Flux, actually, dealing some good damage to him. And not much Soul Stealer can do. You kind of brought that up. Soul Stealer's not necessarily the best support carry, obviously.
Now Fade coming in here from the right as well. I'm not quite sure what the Legion team is going to do at this point. Flux is putting pressure 1 versus 2 at this point. And Tempest, he's stuck at at the left side of the Legion Forest with no camps to farm now. I think he should try to transition to the Hellborn Forest as soon as possible. This is not going to be very successful to keep this up.
You see Fade actually, he has the uphill advantage, so, but again, being spotted here by Engineer and Tempest because of the Ward of Sight, so it's not necessarily too sneaky that he's being, but... And it looks like he kind of picks up on that, realizing going to be going elsewhere. He going to be joined by Moira, actually. So, but again, I believe this Ward aside, at least I don't know, actually. Is that? Oh, they would be like just on the outskirts of that War division, man. they might have just been out of range. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just out of range, actually.
So not able to see that, but. You got the top lane, then on top of it all, Warbeast versus a Swiftblade. You look at Swiftblade even spinning aggressively. Seems like that's a matchup that Swiftblade should actually have a pretty good time in. We see right there, he was able to spin and do some good damage to the Hellhounds and cause issues for Warbeast. So really right now, I mean, all three lanes are setting up very well for Team Grief. You agree?
Yeah, I agree, 100%. Any melee hero in general, it just does well versus the Warbeast. It's ranged heroes that struggles because when the Warbeasts are constantly pulling, you're going to have to tank the creep wave for a little bit, and you're usually going to have to last it under tower range as well. But any melee actually swiftly didn't pick up the Rogue's Hatchet. I think he rushed them, Red Marchers almost, but still, I mean, he's not going to have any trouble lasting under tower range, and I mean, he's going to have a good time here versus the Warbeast. Yeah. And I mean, look at the GPM right now, and look at the mid.
Yeah, more are going in with the illusion, but not nearly enough for any kind of kill, kind of more so harassment. But yeah, it's the GPM though, definitely that's ridiculous. I mean, Puppet Master's way up there, then Swiftblade following suit. But there's nothing right now for the Legion team. That just that right there shows you just how it's so one-sided in the laning phase right now. Yeah, for Team Grief.
They got one ward of sight here, spotting the Mora going uphill right now. Think he's going to be fine. But I would love for Mora and Fate to just continue getting experience. Maybe even rotate to the safe lane and just pull that pull camp over and over and just get some experience up here at the top lane with Swiftblade instead. Because I feel like they've already won this tri lane down here at the bottom. And if they can't keep getting kills on the Magnus, then they should just try to rotate instead.
Bottom lane, Magnus. Gonna be fine. The Mora stun just a little bit too late right there, and thus Magnus is able to escape as he uses that Lava Surge very defensively, though. But again, he's having the struggles. He already has the one death to kick it off, and only 4 creep kills on top of that. So barely sitting at 100 gold per minute here at Sloske, and it's not shaping up to be much better. On the other hand, again, Puppet Master having absolute free farm, 25 and 10, has that Bloodlust kill, thus representing 440 gold per minute right now. So an earlier Assassin Shroud on him. You get Swiftblade, a little bit more. It's going to be interesting to see what build Swiftblade goes. Because, again, it seems like this idea of a suicide Swiftblade, the solo Swiftblade, who's not necessarily going to be the hard carry for the team. The Elder Parasite, the Portal Key even, are options. And it becoming a little bit more relevant. Could you see that here on this Swiftblade?
I could see it as a potential for the Tempest ultimate cancel as well. I think the Swiftblade is the only one that can do it as superior. No, actually, they got more as well that could potentially cancel the Tempest PKB. But other than that, yeah, definitely. Portal Key on Swiftblade wouldn't be too bad of a choice, especially if they are looking to put early aggression on. And he's picking up the Ghost Marches right there, so probably not going for the farm route, but more looking to be offensive early on with the Energizer, the Ghost Marchers, maybe even a Firebrand.
Yeah. What can the Legion team do right now? What is their focus right now? It's still very early on. So, yes, the GPM lead is pretty significant in favor of the Hellborn team. But, you know, it's only a 1,500 gold lead about 5 minutes in. It's not like it's too out of hand. What would you be looking to focus on if your Team Who at this point is actually middle lane? He's going to be pulled in right there. Got some initially, but not enough. The Burning Shadows. Yeah, missing right there for Fate. And actually, he's getting a lot of turn damage and the Demon Hand to finish him off in the end. But now Soulstealer might be in some trouble to Flux. No, he's going to be fine. Those glowing red hands, you cannot forget about that. That also helping pretty big right there.
Yeah, did you see that, by the way? I mean, the Flux pull made the Burning Shadow from Fate Mez.
Now, if Fate actually clicked on Soulstealer, would that have actually happened? Because
I'm pretty sure he would have hit the stun in that case.
It would have actually hit the stun, yeah. So it's a little iffy sometimes. Obviously, if you think you don't have enough range, you want to actually click on the ground, but yeah, he maybe should have actually clicked Soulstealer right there, because I'm pretty sure he was close enough, to be honest.
Well, it could have been the fact that he tried to press the Soulstealer, but in the last second, you know, he was pulled away, and therefore he managed to press the ground instead.
That's fair, yeah. That is true. But, I mean, obviously that helps, so that's great news for the Legion team. But again, what would be your focus here if you're in Team Who's shoes right now?
I would say that keep the Fade in as low levels as possible. As long as he's not level 6, I don't feel like the Hellborn team is going to be overtaking the Legion's force by any means. And Tempest is actually doing quite a fine job so far getting experience. He is 250 GPM even with 3 camps blocked in his forest. So props to Qsane so far. And we see them down here trying to put some pressure on the Puppet Master as well. I feel like they should try to focus on actually counter-warding or pulling and stacking this full camp instead of just trying to get lane back and keep the Tempest farming, get level 6 before they try to get these kind of ganks off, because I feel like it's quite obvious right now that Puppet Master knows that there's something up.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no reason for him to just all of a sudden transition into playing very defensive as he is, but other than that, now Soul Stealer middle lane. You saw the discharge coming out. Will this actually be enough for a kill right here? Holy crap. I think, hold on, I need to pause real quick. I think there's actually an earthquake right now where I'm living.
Wow,
I'm
seriously?
not even joking right now. Holy shit. Here, give me just a second. I got to check it and see what the hell's going on here. Just give me a second.
Yeah, of course.
I'll be
take your
right
time.
back. Okay, I'm back. I should be good. Yeah, no, that that was the weirdest thing, man. Okay, guys, we are good. Sorry, literally just had an earthquake.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a smaller one, obviously, but that was weird. That was weird to say the least.
It's about damn time.
Yeah, I get you. I live in Sweden, and earthquakes are very, very rare here, so I haven't
Yeah.
actually witnessed one in person, but I can
Well,
imagine.
I come from California, where it's a known thing, especially smaller ones. Like I'm guessing, which is kind of one we just had. I don't know actually information, but it felt like it's somewhat a smaller one, but you could definitely tell. Things started shaking around you and stuff. So I felt that before, but in Michigan, where I'm from now, it's actually a pretty rare thing too. So. Whoa, pretty crazy stuff. Anyways, focus back on the game here. No big deal, all right? No big deal. Just natural disasters happening. No.
No behemoth in this game.
Behemoth right outside my door, apparently. No, we should be good. And, there does tend to be aftershocks and whatnot, but again, those are usually a lot more minor. And so we should be good here. We should be good.
Yeah, let's hope for the best.
Okay. Anyways, let's focus on the game now once again. So where were we? Oh, top lane. That's where we're at right
Warbeast,
now.
yeah.
Dang,
Oh wow, that was a
yeah.
nice juke right there by Warbeast, actually getting out of trouble, dodging the Burning Shadow.
Yeah, that was a good juke there on Shorkan's part. I've come to learn to pronounce that appropriately. The name of his. Quincy's approving. Oh yeah, good escape on his part. He's level 6 as well, so we'll see if he can maybe use that to advance, possibly look to get a kill, or also help him to escape, of course. But
Mora might be in trouble here at bot lane.
the stun, man, those shards are hard con, but yeah, it's not nearly going to be enough. And man, Team Who, they've got a couple of big kills now on Soul Stealer. He's now 2-0-0, and he just got his Soul Scream ring. He's going a lot of stat build up here. But that seems to be the appropriate build, right, as Warbeast actually gets away with that ulti form, sure enough. But yeah, especially with a lot of action happening early on, the early Energizer, the full Steam Boots here. What item do you expect to see on him after the Energizer? If that's where he goes.
They could go for the farming route with Abyssal Skull, always a good team item. But at the same time, I don't feel like they're going to have the late game or the mid game for that matter. So I would rather see them put as much pressure on it early on as possible, and therefore maybe that Polky, as you were talking about.
Yeah.
I feel like the Hellborn team is dealing with this wrong. The O initiation of bot lane.
There is a deny on the tower at least, but they're not going to be able to catch whoever did deny that in that case, Labyrinth. So speaking of the Energizer, obviously Labyrinth already has his on Swiftblade. Helping to use that right there, but he's not out of the woods just yet. They go in right here. Magnus didn't have enough mana for the eruption, though. You could tell he was wanting to go in and channel it, and that could be a big difference maker here. The spin from Swiftblade, however, he finally gets it off at the last second, but it was enough lockdown when it was all said and done. So, yeah, that almost backfired on them. Maybe if a TP gave in there or two, but it actually still worked out in the end. So another big kill for Team Who, and they're going to keep this pushing, actually.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that they're dealing with this so well. I feel like the Hellborn team has been, like, I don't know, they got a first blood down on the Magnus, but after that they kind of have been stationed in the enemy force without really accomplishing anything, and they are so low levels right now, level 3, while Engineer is already up in level 5, and Tempest level 7. I mean, you can compare the Tempest Engineer to the 2 level 3 supports on Hellborn side, and it's just not looking good whatsoever, even though they had like 3 lanes, more or less, resulting in their favor. And it just comes down to poor rotations from the supports. I feel like they should have rotated to the safe lane instead and started pulling that stack camp if they weren't finding kills on the Magnus at bot lane.
Yeah. Oh, Soulstealer, they're in trouble, but he has a support. Magnus gets there in time. Another TP. That's going to be canceled, though, and, well, I think I know why. Perhaps it was Tempest. He gets caught trying to TP, and he ends up going down there as a result. So they don't get the kill on Soulstealer, but they do get a kill on a Tempest. As Swiftblade is able to get in there, obviously press the Swift slashes and cut through him to pick off the kill. Yeah, if Tempest was also able to pour it in, they could have definitely looked to turn that, but that was a good catch there on the side of Team Grief to make that happen. So you can kind of tell, too, Team Grief has made their transitions. They send Puppet Master top. Swiftblade's picking up farm now in the bottom lane and making sure to enhance that farm onto Puppet Master even more as far as where he's at, of course. So you do got the... Okay, so now this is actually kind of something else here. I'm curious what you think about this. We've seen a lot of Tempest players, honestly, go for, like, the portal key, like, right away, whereas Astrolabe not as popular. But he is going the Astrolabe route here, but do you think Astrolabe is maybe overrated on Tempest nowadays, or do you still just like to see it no matter what?
I like to see it. I really do. I feel like Portal Key is more the surprise factor if you're really looking to take some offensive team fights early on. For example, if you have the Fade on your team instead of the Hellborn initiation at the top, or what is it?
More stopping them. They were coming in.
No, but in this kind of lineup, yeah, with a Soulstealer, with a Magnus Engineer, and a Warbeast, I mean, they got a lot of team fight to fall back on, and if they reach that mid-game state, they're going to look really good in team fight. So I think that Astro is making a good complement for their team, and I don't think that the Portal Key is going to be needed until far later into this stage. Maybe even go BKB before the Portal Key in this game.
Yeah. All right. You got, again, the Astrolabe almost done on him, but we'll see what transition he makes from there. I know it is done, though. Haxring gets his Assassin Shroud picked up. And, oh, he's going to try to use it right away right here. He goes in on a Warbeast, waiting for the ulti form. And that's where he's going to put the Puppet Show on. The Voodoo Puppet, yes, one more auto attack does the job in. The Hellhounds are actually doing some good damage to him, though. It's not going to be enough in the end, right? Yeah, he should be able to kill out. Jeez, that got pretty close, actually. For Haxring there. But he gets the kill. He's going to TP back and regen. But, yeah, very close call, actually, on his part, too.
Fade is looking to get level 6 mark soon as well, and if they can combine that with the Assassin Shroud and the Puppet Monster, I would think that they could take control over the enemy forest. They do have the Astro, as we mentioned on Tempest soon, though, so it's going to be tricky. Right now, I'm not sure what they're doing in the mid lane. There are 3 heroes here from the Legion or a Legion team, and they're not really accomplishing anything at this point. I feel like they should just focus on getting as many levels as possible, get level 6 on Engineer before you even try to make this kind of pushes in the mid lane.
So I played Abyssal Skull just finished, so it kind of answers our question there, the idea of would he go for more of the aggressive route, the Elder Parasite Portal Key, even something we have been seeing on Swiftblades as of late, especially more of the Suicide role, but he is going more of the Abyssal Skull, more of the farm tradition instead. And of course, Abyssal Skull, it's a good item to have on a team, any team, so it's, that in itself is where it kind of makes sense. Want to make sure they have that, especially if fights are happening, and for what honestly it seemed like a very action-packed game, it is only 6 hero kills in total now, 14 minutes in. So it's not like it's too crazy when it comes to the amount of kills.
It comes down to the low experience gain on the supports. I feel like if Fade would have had level 6 and would have been able to create some space in the enemy forest, then the Swiftblade could have potentially gone for that Portal Key instead, because then he would have had a vision to get those early or very fast kills. But now when he's lacking in experience, he's just level 5, Swiftblade rather go for the Abyssal Skull and therefore just transition into the Portal Key when Fade got level 6 instead.
Yeah.
Smoke Yank in the mid, by the way. Astro is complete on Tempest, and Elemental Void is up and running.
You can tell the Hellborn team may be interested in trying something too, so possible fight definitely could be breaking out here in the middle. You see that field rise you're talking about on Tempest. He's trying to get position. Now Fade's hiding here in the trees. He's going to be spotted there. And there's the pull from Flux coming in with that discharge. Also, Soulster gets stunned shortly after. You see Tempest trying to do what he can. Puppet show from Puppet Master as soon as he TP's in. But look at the Demon Head Nukes get the kill on a Flux. But at what cost here? He uses the Solbers in the background. Swift Slash is coming out though from Swiftblade, but he's in the front lines by himself. Magnus done as soon as the spin ends. And now Swiftblade's trying to run away. The Kickstone will be out of range. Can Soulster maybe land a Demon Hand? Oh, he's trying to get the angle, but he could not get it off. So Swiftblade is able to get away right there and survive, but that's going to be a tower push, yeah, for Team Who coming out on top of that. So really big picture, not too bad for Team Who, and it may not be over actually. You can see they want more out of this. So you got Fade now hiding a bounty, does have the Invis up. He's going to open on a Soulster right here. Puppet Master also coming in, looking to finish him off with the Voodoo Puppet. No, the Tempest ultimate though was used by the way, but he gets out of range of the Voodoo Puppet, perhaps scaring him off enough. So not the biggest Elemental Void, but doing a little bit of work right there. And now Magnus is trying to run away, and he's going to be chased down and perhaps eventually... No, he has power supply charges, so yeah, he's going to be able to use those and try to stun. Meanwhile, back down here, Tempest does get pulled in by Flux, who now is back up. Not through buyback, but simply resurrecting. And finally, that fight will be over, but pretty crazy fight all of a sudden takes place. And, I mean, I don't know. Well, I mean, I guess the Soul State, especially Living, yeah, they definitely came out on top here on the Legion side.
Yeah, they got a small consolation prize in that kill of Tempest, but in the end, the Legion team are more than happy with that team fight. I mean, they got it this early mid-tower as well, and this just gives them so much vision, and now they're actually going to be able to even enter the enemy forest if they choose to do so.
Yeah, Swiftblade here in the middle lane is, again, level 11 right now, so it's level 2 Swift Slashes of his. You got Soulster there running in, though, going to finish off the creep wave and distract him a little bit, but Portal Key is the item choice on Soul Stealer. Sure enough, as we see right here. So, yeah, so think of that?
I don't know. They got a Fade level 7 now, and they got Assassin's Shroud and Power Monster. As long as they hold their side and they keep vision on those two heroes, I think it should be fine. But I'm not sure if I'm looking or would want to look to take team fights this early on if I were a Legion team. I feel like sit back a little bit more and wait for that Portal Key onto Magnus at least before you start picking up these kind of mobility items. I mean, as I'm speaking about that, Fate is instantly going to find Soul Stealer, and he's in trouble straight away.
Yep. Oh my gosh! Unless he does that. How did he react like that? That was ridiculous.
No. It was just a lucky coincidence, I think, from his side.
Wow. That was crazy. Because that for sure was a death. If he did not Portal Key that exact fraction of a second right there. So, yeah, good getaway. And but your point still stands, I think. You got a little lucky right there, perhaps, or maybe just the most insane godlike reactions, whatever. But he is going up again against a team that is known to be able to jump on top of you, get you killed quickly, and cause issues there. So Engineer is going to be picked off. As,
and bottom lane.
Say that, but and at the bottom lane, sure enough, yeah, Tempest's going to be chased down and goes to the TP, though, knowing they don't have any more stuns, and he was correct to do so. Meanwhile, back up here, Magnus gets picked off, actually. Now Soulster's on the run. He has that Portal Key up, though, and he is going to be fine in the end. But, yeah, a couple more pickoffs in favor of Team Grief. And now falling back. By the way, you know, so about the Portal Key on Soulster, but Portal Key on Flux also picked up as a priority item. And, you know, we've been seeing a lot of the Insanitarius style, but not Super KGE, apparently. He likes the Portal Key.
Yeah, Super KGE has always been a kind of offensive middle player. But I think it goes very well with their lineup in general as well. Now when they have all this invisibility on Fade and the Puppet Monster, I feel like they just take control over the Legion Force right now. There's absolutely nothing that the Legion team can do now when they don't have a Portal Key on to the Magnus.
Uh-oh. Oh, Fade's going to find Warbeast down here. Warbeast so pretty tanky with that Abyssal Skull and Steam Boots, unless Swiftblade. Well, he does come in. So Slashes
wow,
is
lucky
pressed.
bounces.
Yeah, definitely hit him more than the Wolves right there. A little bit lucky indeed. He goes for the spin. That's a nice spin, but the Elemental Void's going to say, no, you ain't going nowhere. And they will get the kill in the end. So a couple of abilities used big time, but it gets secures the kill on that Swiftblade. It gets the revenge, and safe to say, very worth it in the long run. So good pick onto that Swiftblade. And now Soul Stealer is going to find some farm here at the bottom lane as he starts
good thing that
you
mentioned that, because I'm not a fan of that at all. I feel like Magnus should have kept that lane going still and just kept farming until he had a portal key.
Yeah.
Instead, Soulstealer pushes it up right away, and now they're not going to be able to farm it anymore. I mean, now Fate can sit here and get experience instead. And Magnus, where is he going to go? I mean, he can't find any farm in the forest because Tempest is already farming it. And in the mid lane, sure, he could, but he doesn't know where Fate is. Actually, he knows at the bot lane, but as long as Puppet Master is missing on the map as well, I mean, he shouldn't feel safe farming here in the mid lane.
And speaking of the middle lane, Soulster's heading back towards it with that regen rune. As going to use a couple of Demon Hands to keep that going, a little bit of farm there. Make the most efficient use out of it. Ion Stone, by the way, an engineer, likes seeing that. Again, it's one of just those items that feels like it's just so underrated. But Yugo Bick here is a fan of it, apparently, as he picks it up. The Portal Key on Tempest, too, picked up, so more follow-up there. And, yeah, Magmus is still working on his own Portal Key, but he's coming along. And this is a Magmus that was in a very struggle lane here early on. So it makes sense that he's fallen a little bit behind here.
Yeah, it's going to take some time. When he hits that BKB timing on Tempest, then the Hellborn team is really need to be careful. As long as they don't have the portal key on the Mora, it's only the Swiftblade that can actually cancel the BKB.
Yeah.
And therefore, I mean, he's going for the Firebrand route, initiation in mid.
Oh, that Soul Burst, so much damage. Flux even lived to it initially, but obviously the long run wasn't able to do so. The Arcane Vortex a little bit late, but actually keeps him in place. Swiftblade now spinning on top of them as a Voodoo Puppet comes out as well on his Soulster. There's no chance of him getting away. He will fall. Engineer, can he get away is the question. Nice job with the Kickstone right there.
Bro.
Yeah, that little regen, the minor regen rune with the Ion Stone doing some work. Yeah, he's actually going to get away. He even plays the Horde aside. Look at that. He's like, I'm just even going to take care of some objectives in the process. Top lane in the meantime, nice deny coming out for Swiftblade, and actually he's trying to go for a turn kill even. He has support coming in, going to pop the Swift Slash this time. Not as lucky with the bounces, perhaps, but he does still kill Engineer, and now Warby left behind. Magmus now with the Eruption. He goes back and gets the cut of Swiftblade, gets killed Moira as well. Big play from Slosky right there, and he dodges the stun from Fate on top of it all. And now he's going to TP out to safety, so at least, again, the long run, he actually gets a couple of kills in response there, but you see Puppet Master, Hacks right now getting pretty high up there in the GPM chart, 470 gold per minute nearing at this time. But, well, the action in this game, though, is definitely stepping up quite a bit.
It does. I feel like the Hellborn team is not entirely on the same page, though, on what they actually want to accomplish in this fight, or in this game. It feels like some of them are going for farm items, while some are going for mobility items. Jumping here at the bot lane, or this should be a dead Tempest. Or...
Oh, the Puppet Show, out of range. You're going to pull him in. Doesn't have enough mana for a hold, but it doesn't matter. Discharge more than enough to secure it there. So, yeah, good find on him as they get the pick. And Puppet Master now level 16 on top of that. So he's...
looking very strong, yeah.
Yeah, really good spot.
But, I mean, in general, though, I feel like they should be able to put on a little bit more pressure. I haven't seen Fade running offensive with his ultimate for quite some time now. It feels like they're waiting for the Legion team, more or less, to make their move. And now Magnus got that portal key, and if they can reach the BKB timing on Tempest, then I would really fear for my life if I were Hellborn, because there's no way to cancel it. I mean, not effectively, at least. I mean, the Swiftblade ultimate is going to be risky, and you don't have that portal key on Mora. I just feel like, instead of farming here as Fade, helping the Puppet Master, which literally accomplished nothing, just get some vision instead with your ultimate. Try to find kills.
Yeah. Oh, Flux just jumps in pretty YOLO right there. Jumped into the Legion team and trying to set something up. You see Swiftblade kind of following it, but Magnus is going to be able to lava surge away before they get to him. So maybe a little bit of miscommunication there, because he jumped in and the follow-up wasn't really the quickest there from Team Grief. But he did nonetheless, so no kills happening, and that's going to give a little bit of time for Team Who to react and get everyone over here. See, they're trying to maybe set up, but the Ancients, those are triple stack Ancients, eventually are killed off on the side of Team Grief, and now actually Fade's running
look
in.
at Magnus.
Yeah, that's a free kill. Level 9 Fade, all of a sudden he hits level 11. He got the solo kill, and he goes up to level 11.
And look at this farm now, he almost got a PK on his own if he chooses to go for it.
Yeah. Would you like to see that? I mean...
I think it would be, as long as they're on the same pitch and actually want to go offensive. I mean, I like what Super Kid G was on there. I mean, he just portal keyed straight into the enemy team, more or less, because he knows for a fact they don't have too much damage yet.
Yeah.
They don't have that physical damage. So as long as he keeps the portal key on Magnus on cooldown, or preventing him from getting a nice eruption off, there's really nothing to fear. He can easily interrupt the Soul Stealer ultimate as well. So I just feel like they should, keep the pressure up and just take control of the enemy force. Oh, initiation in the mid.
Yeah, they're going to catch Flux right here. Elemental Void is good to go if they feel it necessary. You see the Arcane Vortex stalls a little bit, and it may stall enough to save Flux, actually. He may be looking to come back in here as, yeah, Discharge pulling. Energy Field goes down. Soul's still there. The Burning Shadow's done on top of that. Beautiful lockdown from the Hellborn team. You see Puppet Master joining the party. These Swift Slashes from Swiftblade. Tempest will get cut through. Soul Stealer's just on the run this whole fight, trying to stay alive. The Invis helping with that, of course. A big-time Invis rune right there. And he's still going away. He has a Soul Burst if they want to maybe go for a turn. But, oh, Magnus. Yeah, no, he had the idea of turning that. Soul Stealer did not. They were on a different page right there. And so a wasted Eruption and now a free Conqueror kill for Team Grief.
So well played by Super KG in that fight. He just took one for the team. He knew for a fact that using, or I mean, he was fine. Mora saved him, but he knew for a fact that if he used his ultimate, they would be able to get a few kills in return for his life. So yeah, nice heads up by him, and Hellborn team responding really fast on that, TPing into the mid tower and setting some return kills on.
Yeah, this Conqueror kill, I'm guessing Puppet Master, yeah, he's going to be picking it up right here. As, by the way, he has a Hellflower now on top of the Whispering Helm and the Assassin Shroud. So, you know, a lot of Puppet Masters would honestly go the Shrunken Head right here. It's kind of that holy trinity of items, as I like to call, but he thinks I could be a little bit more aggressive, continue that route with the Hellflower instead. And actually, I was going to ask you what you think about that, but we could have another fight breaking out right here. Fady spots Engineer. They want to go for Soul Stealer. Look at the burst. That's ridiculous. Elemental Void will come out, however. Buddy gets stunned eventually. The damage follow-up also wasn't really there, and the discharge push definitely helped on top of that. A double tap for Haxerin. Oh my god, I apologize, guys. I was on the wrong screen the whole time. Anyways, back to this. The Engineer gets picked off as well, so, well, you missed a little bit of a fight right there, but hopefully the audio cast was good enough. But, man, 26.5 minutes in right now. Team Grief, they found the groove, and they're kicking it into second gear. And like I was talking about with the Hellflower, though, I mean, I think that's even proven to be a better choice now because of how aggressive they are.
Yeah, they don't really have a fear factor at the Legion team. That's what it comes down to. So Haxerin feels confident going for these kind of greedy items. And I don't know why Legion are the ones that are constantly on the Hellborn side. I feel like it should be the other side or other way around. I mean, Hellborn should be the ones putting pressure onto preventing that BKB timing on Tempest. But instead, Legion team once and after a while. I mean, that's the second time in a row that Soul Stealer was caught off guard at the Hellborn side.
Yeah. That is caught out of position, and you know, it really does go back to the Portal Key. Like, Portal Key on Tempest, Portal Key on Magnus, you know, that's kind of expected. But Portal Key on Soul Stealer, though, really kind of criticizing that initially. And I think it really is kind of, it's still reflecting. And this is a team that wasn't necessarily expected to be the ones looking to pick the fights, perhaps going for more of the I want to farm a little bit more efficient, you know, that Firebrand route. You could even argue something like the Assassin Shroud possibly could have been an option here for Soul Stealer, but we went the Portal Key and the Shrunken Head. He's playing much more of a true initiator follow-up rather than the actual damage dealer that a Soul Stealer can be, honestly, as we have seen, you know, with those right clicks. So that on top of the Battlecry buff, too. So, yeah, you would have figured maybe that right-click build would have been the more efficient, but hindsight, sure. I mean, had to go one option, and he chose this one. And the big picture not working out so far at this time. You know, perhaps banking on Warbeast eventually coming through, but he's sitting at 200 gold per minute, and I'm guessing that's he's struggling to try to finish a Shrunken Head here with that Mighty Blade. So
there's no way for him to farm at this game, not at all. I mean, where is he supposed to go? He only got that Suicide Lane. Soul Stealer and Tempest are busy with the forest, and I mean, they're already fighting for the farm at their side, and yeah, it's just nowhere. Magnus in the middle lane, he's sitting there with Eruption waiting for something, but I don't think he's going to have enough damage to actually get a solo kill off. And right now, I mean, just quickly snowballing out of Legion's hands. Soul Stealer is 400 GPM, sure, so there's some life still going for them, but Puppet Master, on the other hand, 540 GPM, and he got a health flowering. Yeah, once again, I mean, they just keep getting caught on this Hellborn side.
Yeah. Big pick right there, and they're also going to get another kill, as we see right there on Engineer. You see that stat right there also, you know, Soul Stealer tends to be a pretty big damage dealer throughout the game, but only 9% hero damage done, and usually does not lead to a successful game in the end. So game number one right now in the hands of Team Grief to do it in and have a 1-0 lead. It's not over just yet, though. Obviously, Team Who doing what they can to hold in there. Magnus and Engineer currently dead, though. You have the token on Puppet Master for another minute 20 coming up, as they're now pushing that middle lane, and he's looking for an opening chance right there. Can't really get it, though. And instead, he'll have that Shrunken End now delivered. So, mentioning the Hellflower, it's like, oh, could have gone Shrunken, but now he just has it anyways on top of the Hellflower that he initially went. So, yeah, he's pretty much good to go here as far as this mid-game at least. You know, can definitely develop more, but with where things are at right now, he's dealing plenty, as we have seen. I also like, I love seeing the, I know this has been on for a little bit, but the Lex Talionis on Fade. I brought that up before, how honestly with how we've seen Fade a little bit lately, I don't think we've actually seen a Lex on him yet. And I feel like for the role that he especially plays, Lex Talionis just seems like a perfect item for him. Enhancing that damage so much initially. So it's not the face hug synergy, but still, it's some nice amplified damage. So do you kind of agree? It's just like it makes sense on this hero.
Totally, yeah. It's a good point. And I feel like we don't see Lex Talionis. Oh, wait, initiation.
Is there the pull in the Elemental for the Soul Burst, but it's gonna be stopped. Moira MVP. Eruption will go off with the Shrunken Heads. Now they bought the time for it. Swift Slash is bouncing around once again. Another pulling right there from Flux coming out, and you see Solstier going to be beat down in the background. And Champion of Newerth is Haxter, and GG's being called. That's going to do it for game number 1. Team Grief takes it, 1-0 lead. And they found their groove, it just went. But yeah, Moira, that's another reason why she's a top-tier support right now on the scene here, Snooey.
Oh boy. In the end, I think it came down to the draft in this game. I just feel like Legion team, they weren't really in it.